We are taking a look at relative location, one of the two types of location, and this is the type of location that you probably use most in your day-to-day life. So to give relative location, you are going to be using the directions on a compass rose. Now, in your day-to-day life, you can use the words left and right, but since we're in social studies, we're going to use the directions on the compass rose. So you're going to give the location of a place by describing its relationship with other places near it. You can really hear the word relationship and relative go together. Like they seem like they are very similar. And that's how you can remember what relative location is. You have to describe where a place is in relation to another one. So if you know where Columbia is and you're trying to figure out where Macon's at, you can describe where Macon's at in relation to Columbia. So Macon would be north of Columbia. So here are some things you need to know about relative location. You need a minimum of 2 points of reference, whether that be doing north and south, or you could do east and west. You could do northeast and south. Don't do north and northeast. If you're going to do northeast, then pick like a west or like a south or a southwest. Don't do south and southwest. It'll make it a little confusing if you're looking from the same direction. Also pick places that are close to the area you are describing. Don't pick places clear across the globe. So if you're describing a place in North America, don't pick a place clear over in Africa to help describe where this place is at. You can use bodies of water. So you can use oceans, you can use seas, you can use rivers. Just be careful because sometimes bodies of water can almost encircle or completely encircle the place, and then it will not make sense. This is especially true of islands. Make sure you write in full sentences. This is something that needs to have a complete sentence. And just know that your answers will vary. How one person might describe where, say, Macon's at could be different than how someone else describes where Macon's at. So there are going to be a lot of correct answers. So let's look at some examples. Let's use a place you're familiar with, that'd be Macon. So Macon would be right where my mouse is. And we could say that our relative location example for Macon would be Macon is south of Kirksville and north of Columbia. So yep, Macon is south of Kirksville. And here's Columbia, it is north of Columbia. If we look at the state of Missouri, we could say Missouri is south of Iowa and that it's north of Arkansas. So always pretend like whatever place you're trying to find, let's say in this case, the state of Missouri is where you live, and you're trying to tell your friend where the state of Missouri is at so they can get to you. And let's pretend that your friend lives in Iowa. You're like, oh, you need to go south from Iowa to get to my state. Or you can pretend like your friend lives in Arkansas and say, oh, you need to go north to get to my state. So if you struggle with this and you get your directions messed up, it's always a good idea to draw out a compass rose and then pretend like you're living in the place that you're trying to give the relative location to. So let's try some examples of countries in Africa. So we are now going to describe where Botswana is and give its relative location. So here's Botswana where my mouse is. And we're going to say Botswana is south of Zambia and that it is east of Namibia. Notice how I'm always going to start my sentence with the place that I am looking for. So I'm looking for Botswana and describing its relative location. So I'm going to start my sentence with the word Botswana is. If you do this pattern, it will really help you keep things straight. Let's do Algeria next. So I'm going to be finding Algeria, so I'm going to start my sentence with Algeria is. So Algeria is west of Libya and south of the Mediterranean Sea. So here I've actually used a body of water, and that works fairly well. To me, it will work good enough. It is a little confusing since the Mediterranean Sea does kind of dip down here, but definitely it's way above it too. So just be careful with bodies of water. This is an okay example. Now, if you want to give another point of reference and do more than 2 points of reference, you can. All my examples so far have only had 2 points of reference, but I could also say things like Algeria is west of Libya, south of the Mediterranean Sea, and it is east of the Western Sahara. So you can use more points of reference, but you need at least 2. And again, make sure that they are not going the same direction. So we're not going to say something like Libya is north of Chad and north of the Central African Republic. We're not going to do that. You need to pick something different. I would not say like a northwest or a northeast if I was already using the word north. If you've already used the word north, then you need to switch to an east, a west, or a south.